motion, fakes it for pass end zone. Yes, touchdown.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to the first ever Geno's Picks Wildcard Extravaganza, courtesy of the expanded NFL playoffs, which have cut the number of buys in half, as opposed to this country, where the fucking buys are running wild. They're running fucking wild. Actually, not that I have a problem with bisexuals, because they're straightforward saying they fuck men and women. I mean, I won't fuck those other 138 genders that have come out over the past few years. So in honor of those buys, Daddy will be taking this week as well with 6 picks to throw at his 41-43 record. So let's get wild card with Geno's picks. Why'd you give me the big dick? My first pick, the Bills are laying 6.5 to the Colts in Buffalo. New York Governor's Andrew Cuomo took a break from insulting the intelligence of one of the greatest cities in the world last week to try and insult one of the greatest fan bases in all of the NFL, the Bills Mafia, people. If you're still not sure what this Cuomo idiot has done in the past year to destroy our city, just Google dumbbell, boob, or barbell, tits. Thanks, Bobby. But the Bills Mafia did, which is why when that douche all but shut down the state and forbade them from attending their beloved Bills games, and then tried to play the hero last Wednesday by saying 6,700 fans can attend Bills Stadium this weekend for what will be their first playoff game since December 28, 1996. They didn't let him get away with tacking this on. Oh, and I'll be attending the game. Yeah. Thing is, Buffalo fans didn't wait a quarter of a century to host a playoff game so they could host a complete piece of shit as well. Which is why just 1 week later, the fans got 40,000 plus signatures on an online petition calling for a ban on Cuomo at Bills Stadium. And you know what the weird thing is? That's the same day fucking Cuomo decided to give the ticket to a nurse. A nurse? I guess despite what he's been saying about people dying of corona, ERs aren't essential on Saturdays. Still, as easy as this win was, as much as I love Josh Allen and company, the Colts are no joke, and they're going to keep this game within a TD. And my boy Phillip Rivers won't be able to take down Man Crush Josh at the end. With apologies to Todd Lacey and Bills Mafia, I give the Bills this game, but it's going to be close. Take the Colts in the 6 and a hook they're getting. Pick 2. Seahawks are giving 3 to the Rams in Seattle. Sure, the Rams' leading receiver, Cooper Kupp, is back, but he will either be getting the ball from Jared Goff, who didn't impress me this season before his throwing thumb was broken, or XFL alum John Wolford, who, while he was under center in the team's 18-7 clinching win against the Cards last week, the QB that deserves the credit is not the guy who threw for 231 yards and a pick as much as this guy we know even less about, Chris Trevler, aptly named because his passes traveled inaccurately all afternoon. That's not this funny. Trebled. All right. Trebled in relief of Kyler Murray. I'm still laughing at that terrible joke. In fact, between his 84-yard pick 6 and safety in the end zone, he single-handedly gave the Rams all the points they needed, while Wolford was patting himself on the back on the sideline and deleting all of his XFL contacts. Why is that so funny to me? Which is why the Rams are better off starting the guy with 9 working fingers, because starting Wolford would be giving the Rams faithful 1 middle finger. Either way, you can have my money in this one, Vegas, if you think it's closer than a field goal against the classiest QB in all of the NFL. This guy that keeps putting his cock in Ciara. How did that not fall off? Take the Seahawks and the 3 they're getting. Pick 3. The Washington football team is getting 8 from the Bucs in D.C. Fun fact. Did you guys know this, boys? An NFL team with a losing record has only made the playoffs twice. You changed it to once? Twice. And they've won both times in the opening round. The first time was, of course, the famous Beastquake game against the Saints when Marshawn Lynch rumbled for that touchdown and the fan base went so bananas. Can I say bananas and Marshawn Lynch in the same thing? They went bananas, and they set off an earthquake meter near the stadium. The second game pitted these 2 coaches against each other in 2014 when Ron Rivera's Panthers beat Bruce Arians' Cardinals. Of course, what many may forget in that game was Arians and the Cards were starting a 4th-string QB. Yeah, well, this weekend the Bucs have a guy starting the game who was only 36 back when that happened in Tom Brady, and worth noting was on his way to his 4th Super Bowl ring that year. So lock it up for the Bucs, right? Hey, Pat. Wrong, because if you're thinking, WTF is the WFT going to do when they have to rotate between Alex Smith and Taylor Heineke at quarterback, as Rivera suggested, against the Bucs' 5th-ranked defense? Well, then maybe you have missed something. That the team 3 notches above them in the defensive ranking are these former Redskins led by this kid, Chase Young. If you don't know who he is, don't worry. Tom Brady does, after he made it abundantly clear that he wanted Brady in this game, saying, Tom Brady, Tom Brady, I'm coming. I want Tom. I want Tom. Seems like Tom Brady's got 99 problems, and this bitch is the only one. I wonder if he flies Spirit Airlines. I didn't write that. That's, if you watch, see, let me explain something before I get on with it. This is why you have to watch the show. Because if you watch in hot water right now, losing your marbles. Look for a game that's closer at the end than many may think, because unlike the Capitol Police, the Washington defense knows how to finish someone off. Take the fucking Redskins on the 8th they're getting. The Ravens are giving 3-0 to the Titans in Tennessee. Yeah, this game is in Tennessee because the Titans won the AFC South, which they completely deserve after an 11-5 campaign. The only reason it may have surprised you is because the Ravens are the hottest team in all of the NFL, as they seemingly get better and better each week, as opposed to the Titans, who consistently get a 50-plus yard TD run from Derrick Henry each week, but they consistently struggle overcoming a deficit, like ending a joke with a double negative. I knew Bobby put something fucking in here, which I cannot see them not having to do this Sunday. Take the Ravens and lay the 3 and a hook. Pick 5, the Saints are giving 10 to the Bears in New Orleans. Sorry, Bill, for any of you who are wondering how are the Bears getting 10 in the playoffs, what you should be wondering is how the fuck did the Bears get to the playoffs? And before you tell me they won 4 straight games where they put up 30-plus points before coming back down to earth in last week's blowout loss of the Packers, let me point out that they were against some terrible teams in the Lions, Texans, Jags, and yes, terrible Vikings. As for the 6 losses before that, they came against 5 playoff teams because Mitch Trubisky shrinks in mediocre games, let alone big ones like this. Look, Pat, for Mitch to be pacing on the sideline at the end of this one, while Bears GM Ryan Pace is on the phone trying to do what he does best, trading up for the number 2 pick in the draft. Take the Saints and lay the 10. Steelers are giving 6 to the Browns in Pittsburgh. The bad news for the Browns is that head coach Kevin Stefanski will not be at the game because he's got the COVID-19, which gives him something in common with the Steelers. There's a 99.9% chance he'll come out of this just fine. Instead, Alex Van Pelt will be calling the plays meeting in his place. He will be the guy on the sideline yelling at Baker Mayfield, Bobby, what the fuck are you thinking? Because the bad news for the Browns fans is the rest of the team is healthy, and while they're playing in the first playoff game since 2002, they will remind you why they haven't been there from 2003 through 2019. Because they're the Browns, Bobby. They're not the Bobby Browns. They're the Browns, Bobby. I'm not surprised you're getting 6 in this game without your head coach. I'm amazed they were only getting 3.5 with him, because this is a team that just 1 week earlier lost to these same Steelers in Cleveland, no less, with their head coach. Wait a minute. Wasn't it the same Steelers because they didn't have Ben Roethlisberger? Any of their starters? No. Mason Rudolph started, who's terrible. I'm not saying he has no business being in an NFL game, but any Steelers fan will tell you there's only one other Rudolph a grown man should have more trouble believing in this time of year. Steelers are a very good team, and they're disciplined, unlike the Browns. And if you don't believe the Browns are undisciplined, do me a favor. Go back and Google Mason Rudolph, Myles Garrett, Nat Geo. Take the Steelers, lay the 6. You got a fucking full minute, Pat. Those are Geno's picks. God. I'm going to say something. I'm a good-looking son of a bitch.